You know, there are times, I was saying to the team producing the show, that there are times in the past where you can look at Chuck Grassley and sort of think of him as an elder statesman who, you know, conservative in that Midwestern kind of way, but normal. To show unrestrained, robust discussion, that's not what Donald Trump was doing when he was talking to Jeffrey Rosen and Donahue. That was telling them to say that the election was corrupt.
Exactly right. You know, when I watched that this week, I just, you know, he's done a lot lately, Senator Grassley, that I've been concerned with, you know, with not voting for the bipartisan commission to investigate 1-6, to even pushing the conspiracy theories himself about Arizona, and now this speech. He's not the guy I remember watching growing up. You know, I grew up in Iowa where we had Democrat Tom Harkin, we had Republican Chuck Grassley, and they'd go off to Washington and into the U.S. Senate. And, you know, I wouldn't agree with what everybody was doing, but you kind of knew they still at least had Iowa's back. Mm-hmm. And when I've been watching him these last, few years, he's not the same guy that I remember. It's what we're talking about here, how he has acted. It is, quite frankly, giving up on democracy and, quite frankly, our country. And that's not who I thought he was. And it's why we're going to beat him. And we're going to need everybody with us, because you do not get to say those words on the floor of the U.S. Senate, defend a president who was trying to stay in office after he lost an election, and expect to get reelected in a state like Iowa. We are going to win this race. We need you with us. Go to abbyfinkenauer.com and join us.
I guess, though, it is different, right? When he says the stuff he says like that, it's different from Republicans who come out and completely lie about stuff. This is the lying light, or the encouraging of Trump light. How does that play in Iowa when you talk to people? Because I do know that folks in Iowa have sometimes not been on one side of the political divide or the other. There are conservative Democrats who have voted Republican. There are Republicans who have voted Democrat, depending on the candidate. How does this go over, this Chuck Grassley stuff that's happening?
Yeah, so as I've been traveling the state from Dubuque to Council Bluffs to down in Lee County, which is near Missouri, we've been talking about what happened on 1-6 and the fact that Senator Grassley was somebody who should have known better, who should have pushed back against the lies. And then again, not only didn't push back against the lies that led to that day where I watched my friends and my former colleagues get attacked in real time by a violent mob that was fed misinformation and lies. He not only, again, he actually pushed those conspiracies himself. And when we talk about that, the folks that come up to me afterwards, they have tears in their eyes and they're going, what happened to the guy? How did he become this? And, you know, I don't have answers for that. I don't know why he has decided to give up on democracy like this, but I will tell you, we will defeat him. Because, again, you do not get to talk about democracy in the way that he has. You do not get to subvert it the way that he has, and at the same time decide that you're just going to keep getting reelected. That's not how this works. Not when we did what we did in 2018 in Iowa, where we flipped congressional seats. We actually won statewide in 3 different races for Democrats, and we're going to do it again in this midterm. And we're going to make sure that we hold anybody accountable who, again, can't even stand up for democracy and do the basics of their job that they're supposed to do as a U.S. Senator. So
Chuck Grassley supported the infrastructure bill, although polling even by Fox indicates that 56% of people are in favor of that. Only 38% are opposed. There's some real money going into Iowa. So somehow he made the right political decision on that one. But given how polarized America is getting and looking, what's it like to be a Democrat running for statewide office in Iowa right now? What's the environment?
Well, I can tell you folks are happy that we got a president who actually did what he said he was going to do. I mean, we heard Trump go around our state for years and talk about an infrastructure package, never did it. And here Joe Biden comes in and he gets it done. That's noticed. And it's noticed because of the families like the one that I grew up in. My dad was a union pipe fitter welder, and he'd be gone months at a time just trying to provide a good life for our family and put food on our table. But I also remember there were months where he was not gone, and where we actually would have the name of his business agent memorized, where we'd have to make sure that we picked up that phone when it rang, because that many had a job. And now we're talking about good paying jobs across this country. That means something.